Hello and welcome everybody. I am Dr. Asavri Sawant, Senior Sub-Editor at Elets Technomedia, India's leading and largest B2B multimedia platform. And on behalf of Elets Technomedia and the Banking and Finance Post magazine, I extend a very warm welcome to you all for the Elets Fintech Dialogue series. This exclusive series is an integral part of the World Fintech Summit, which is a two-day premier event by Elets Technomedia that brings together global fintech and BFSI community. From policymakers and industry leaders to innovators and key stakeholders, the summit fosters meaningful collaborations aimed at driving innovation and growth in financial services worldwide. We are very honored to have the Department of Electronics, IT, Biotechnology and Science and Technology, Government of Karnataka as the host state partner, alongside Karnataka's Digital Economy Mission as our strategic partner for the World Fintech Summit. The Elets Fintech Dialogue celebrates trailblazing leaders and entrepreneurs whose fintech-driven initiatives are transforming lives and industries. And today, we are yet again back with another inspiring leader who is instrumental in revolutionizing the BFSI industry landscape. Uh, Please welcome Mr. Kiran Hejmadi, who is the Senior Vice President of Product Management Group at FSS. Sir, thank you so much for joining us. A very warm welcome to you.
Thank you for having me on this forum here.
And for our audience, our viewers, Mr. Kiran is a seasoned product strategist with over 23 years of rich experience in product management, digital banking, and payments. Currently serving as the Senior Vice President at FSS, he leads the product management group across India, the Middle East, and Africa. His diverse career spans renowned institutions, including NPCI, Tally Solutions, and leading fintech and banking organizations. Mr. Kiran is best known for conceptualizing the NACH debt e-mandate, now the backbone of India's auto debit ecosystem, used by over 80 banks and 1,000 plus corporates, facilitating transactions over 1,700 billion monthly. These also spearheaded the award-winning public-private partnership with India Post, Grameen Suvidha Kendra, a flagship rural initiative of MCX. A passionate digital payments evangelist, Mr. Kiran brings a 360-degree perspective to the fintech landscape, having worked as a banker with a central payments institution and ERP provider and a fintech innovator now. So, sir, thank you so much for joining us once again. Let us deep dive into our discussions. So, we are very curious to know more about FSS and how FSS is leveraging tokenization to protect cardholder data in digital transactions. Because whenever we talk about digital transactions, technology, and BFSI space, the first thing that comes to mind for any entrepreneur or user is the safety and the protection, data protection. And what future advancements do you foresee in this area? So we're curious to know both.
Thank you, Dr. Asawari, for the wonderful introduction. I think people operating in the BFSI space in the Indian market, especially banks in the Indian market, already know about FSS. FSS has been in the industry serving the banks in the country for the last 30 plus years. We have been focused on providing technology solution to the banks, and we operate in various spaces. We have limited ourselves to a space in the banking segment, banking solution tech, called payments. We support banks in offering acquiring and issuance solutions, in addition to some other back office solutions, primarily on the recon and the fraud management and the chargeback management services to the bank. So this is primarily the space which FSS has been offering in. As an organization, given the experience of last 30 plus years, we hold, as an institution, hold a deep domain expertise in managing switch, card transactions, and acquiring and issuance, of course, in managing those card transactions. So that's where FSS has been playing a key role in the Indian market as such, and also in the Middle East and South Africa. Coming to your question, Dr. Asawari, in terms of tokenization. I think tokenization by itself is a large subject for discussion, and protection of cardholder data is just one aspect of it, right? we essentially are moving towards a world where tokens will be used heavily in all aspects of financial and non-financial transactions. In general, tokenization is the process of issuing a digital, unique, anonymous representation of the real thing, right? That's the general definition of tokenization. While this is a general definition, there is a variety of different ways in which they are used. Now, take for example, even the latest talk of the town, the AI, uses tokenization, right? Tokenization in AI is used to break down the data for easier pattern detection, right? When an LLM is fed with input text, it breaks the text down into tokens, and each token is assigned a unique numerical identifier, which is fed back into the LLM for processing. Now the model learns the relationship between these tokens and generates responses based on the patterns it learns, and that's how it kind of recognizes patterns and gives us those responses. The other area I would say this is widely spoken about today is tokenization of real estate, tokenization of art, tokenization of financial assets like equity and bonds, intangible assets like IP, intellectual property, or even identity and data. Right. So some of the popular jargons that float around is NFT and stable coins. Right. These are primarily nothing but tokens of an underlying asset which is there. So this is another form of tokenization which is there, which I believe with as and when the Web3 takes vogue and takes on the center stage, these kind of tokenization, which empowers the individual to transfer their assets at will or part sell those assets at will take the center stage. Now, in payments, coming to the space that we operate, tokenization is used for cybersecurity to hide the identity of the payment itself, right? Essentially, to prevent fraud. Right? Today, card numbers are tokenized in a way that only the issuer and the schemes hold the cardholder data. Everyone else has a token and none and not the real card number. So you can talk of the merchant, the acquiring bank, the processors in between. None of them have a visibility to a card number once a tokenization process is complete. This is as per the regulation of the land, right? And to our luck, the regulator has been proactive in issuing regulations as far as protecting the cardholder is concerned, from protecting the cardholder from cardholder data or cardholder from any kind of fraud to be coming in his way, right? And the regulator has been really proactive in that. Now, as per the see, if you see the guidelines which is issued by RBI, it allows tokenization of card to happen at various stages. One is the acquiring stage, where there's a provision for a token requester to tokenize the card data at the time of the acquiring itself. The card is when it's acquired. Now, there was another problem statement in the industry, which was there some time back, was the wallets where the card numbers were saved, right? So there's today card on device tokenization to tokenize cards which are stored in these wallets. Right? The third aspect of tokenization is push provisioning, which is the issuer pushing the tokenized card details even before the transaction is initiated by the merchant, right? Issuer to allowing the cardholder to tokenize their card and push to their merchants where they want, where they do typically regular transactions, and ensure that the card merchant, one, it ensures that the merchant doesn't never have in the system has a card number to be captured. Second, it ensures that the cardholder has a very seamless experience when they visit portal online to do online transactions. FSS today offers all three means of tokenizing card to its banks as part of its acquiring and issuing stacks. You speak of card on device tokenization, push provisioning, or as a token requester. We are kind of certified with each of the schemes to offer these to the banks.
Thank you so much, sir, for sharing your thoughts. Also, we're happy that FSS is doing so much in this space. Loved hearing that. Moving on to the UPI space, So we would very much want to know that how FSS is innovating the UPI space, which is already getting uptaken by the entire country, and with so much readiness to enhance further the transaction speeds, security, and user experience. And what are the key challenges that FSS has seen, or you have seen, that lie in this space while scaling UPI adoption further?
Sure. See, I mean, everybody in the world today knows that the UPI ecosystem is kind of growing leaps and bounds by the day, right? I mean, when you see the month of March, the UPI ecosystem did 19 billion transactions in the month of March, and it's growing at the rate of around 10 to 15% month on month, right? This is a quantum leap in the kind of way that digital transactions are expected to be processed by way of the speed, by the way of complexity, because it's a four-party model, and by way of the scale, the numbers that are achieved on a month-on-month growth of 10-15% is quite high in that sense. It's today, if you see, more or less every Indian with a smartphone is today using UPI to make payments. UPI today is accepted as a mode of payment at the remotest part of the country. I mean, you go travel to any part of the country, you will have, even if it's not a town, it's not a tier one, tier two, even tier three villages, you will be able to make payment using UPI, and it's widely accepted as against cash. So further adoption of UPI has to come from segments. While we have covered up the UPI acceptance um, in all these market segments, in all the tiers of the markets, in terms of the user base, who's who's kind of savvy to use a smartphone, right? But there's a large segment today also existing in the country who use feature phones as a and not smartphones. So that is one segment which is kind of which I think FSS, which NPCI particularly along with RBI is also focusing on, and that's I think believe is one space that will grow in the near future in terms of increasing the adoption of UPI beyond the smartphones and to the people who into the citizens who use feature phones as such. The other as see one is to build scale by improving your technology, by improving acceptability, and so on and so forth, right? But there are other aspects, in my personal belief, there are other aspects of scaling which has to come from tweaks and changes that the bank needs to do to bring about in its core servicing, or the way that they approach the customer or resolve for the customer, even outside the space of UPI. Let me give you an example. I was traveling by auto rickshaw a few days back, and he said he's not accepting UPI as a mode of payment. I was quite intrigued in terms of why, in sense, he doesn't accept UPI. So when I inquired with him, he told me that his account is inactive, right, for want of re-KYC, and the bank requires where he has an account requires him to travel to his home branch in his native place to complete his process of reactivation of his account, right? So, and he is not traveling to his native place anytime soon, and that's why he is not able to accept UPI as a mode of payment. So that's one use case. But then there's a lot of other process changes I think the industry can bring around to ensure that the people are not going back to cash, but are can continue to rely on accepting and making payments using UPI. Right. Coming back to FSS, we offered UPI on our latest tech platform, Blaze, which is a cloud native microservices based solution stack, highly scalable and secure. Right, this has the ability to process transactions seamlessly, even at 10K, 10,000 transactions per second. We of course, being a service provider to the banks, offer customizable UX which can cater to every bank. So we are not in the B2C space like some of the fintechs do. We only, as I said earlier, we offer technologies and enable the banks to offer better solution to the customers. So we always have to kind of work on technology which can be catering to multiple banks and suit their own specific requirement in the way that they want to address to their customers. So, I mean, we have this stack that we have built up on Blaze, which is a true microservices cloud native. and can cater to any scaling demand that, as we spoke of, the 19 million transactions and the 10% to 15% growth month on month, is something that we can assure, and we assure the banks can be addressed using the new tech stack that we offer to the banks.
Thank you so much, sir, for sharing us in such great detail. And on the same note, while talking about FSS and its support in the financial sector, we would also be very curious to know from you, how does FSS support the integration of financial services but to non-financial platforms? And if you have any thing in your mind, that what role do you envision for FSS in this space?
See, first and foremost, as I said, that we are a pure B2B player and we offer technology stack to the bank. So our primary responsibility there as a technology stack provider to the bank is to be an enabler for them to do business in a way that they would want to operate, right? And they would want to enable. So all the products that we are building on a new tech stack, Blaze, that I mentioned earlier, follows the API first model, right? So what it means is it opens an opportunity to the banks to offer integrated offerings with any number of third parties. It doesn't, and any stage of the workflow can be outsourced or can be kind of offered as an integration to a third party. That's what we enable banks to do. Now, this can be embedded payments, enabling variables. Banks can even enable variables for any aspect of their payments, or even just managing a part of their onboarding process with the third party. It might be a complete onboarding outsourcing, or even as some aspects of onboarding of a customer which requires API integration with third party. All of this is possible with the solutions that we offer of integrating with the possibly what you refer to here as a non-financial platforms sitting outside the banking ecosystem.
Thank you so much for sharing, sir. By wearables, you mean like smartwatches, etc., helping with the payments, or is it something else that you mean at this point?
No, variables, I particularly mean which enables payments.
Okay. Yes, because while I was, doing my masters in UK, there was very popular to have your cell phones, and through Apple Pay, etc., you could do contactless card payments through your phone itself or through your watches itself. But we have, UPI, etc., in our country right now. But I haven't been seeing much of contactless payments through your phone or through your devices. So that would be very intriguing to have in future as well. Definitely would make it more seamless and easy for everybody, especially the users. Moving on to card payments, what are the most significant trends that you've been observing in card payments area today, particularly in areas like contactless payments, mobile wallets? We have been talking about this a little bit, but if you can deep dive into this. Also, your thoughts for this particular sect of financial technology industry in the coming years, and your thoughts.
Sure. So I think your answer is then the question itself, right? So when you talk of, I think the next wave of payment that format in which people pay will shift to contactless and mobile wallets. Is one of the trends that it needs to watch out for. The ease of making a tap and go payment using a mobile wallet is something I believe will be catching up soon. Particularly now that security of the card details stored in the wallet has been addressed by way of CODT, or card on device tokenization, that we earlier spoke of. The apprehension around storing a card number in a third party app should no longer be a concern. Now, given that concern addressed, you will see a lot of players entering into this segment of tap and go payment of by mobile wallets, which is stored on a phone. So now what will happen over the period of time is might be a few months or a year down the line is as a payer, as a cardholder, or somebody has a bank account, I will have the options on the phone itself to make payments using the phone. Either UPI, I can choose either UPI or wallets or any of the cards that is stored on the wallets, right? So that is, and phone will be your primary instrument. Either you tap and pay or you kind of scan and pay. Those are the only two formats of payments that will kind of flourish. Might be soon.
Thank you so much for sharing, sir. We come down to the second last question of our very insightful discussion today. We are, as you are aware, we have a wider range of B2B audience watching the show. So one of the area is the policymakers from the government aspects who also take part in our physical summits, watching our platforms. We have the leaders like yourself watching the shows for exclusive insights and information about the organizations and what they're doing. But a big chunk of our audience also are budding entrepreneurs who want to branch out in the fintech space. So, for them, what areas do you see are very lucrative opportunities at this point of time that should be leveraged, or or should be looked further into for our audience who are taking inputs from you?
I think, in my view, a lot of innovation in payments has already happened, right? If I may say so, right? So, and the next, what is happening next in the payment getting integrated, and the changes around other things that's happening in the market, right? So if the new players and new fintechs are coming into the market, one is, of course, streamlining the lending onboarding process, customer onboarding process, and the acquiring, bringing in various aspects of smaller nuances there and getting more people into the lending ecosystem. That is one stream of thought. The other, from the technology point of view, if you see the evolution happening around the tokenization and the blockchain, and the way possibly the way that people transact in the next few years, using tokens and using, because there's blockchain as an underlying technology, that itself will change. I think, I mean, if there are new tech-driven fintechs, I think they should be having this line of sight in terms of what they can contribute, or what is the evolution happening in the space of tokenization and blockchain, and kind of see how they can contribute in that space. That can be CBDC, that can be NFT, or any of that 10 aspects, right? So I think the fintech should be focusing on those aspects rather than some things which are already solved for largely in payments.
Thank you so much, sir. We come down to the very last question for our very insightful discussion. And this is like a tradition at FinTech Dialogues that we ask every leader that comes on to our space. So, if you could share exclusively for our audience one piece of information, or it could be any key priorities for the next 3 to 5 years, or any projects that are haven't been disclosed yet in terms of fintech innovations or global expansions, etc. That the only thing is that hasn't been revealed on any other platform yet, exclusively for our audience first today.
So I'm not sure, one, if I can bring something.
Whatever you can share.
So, but yeah. So what I'll speak about is, see, if you see the way that technology and the world is evolving today, uh, three 3 years itself is like an extremely long period, right? The way, I mean, every other day we speak of something evolving in API, something evolving in AI particularly, and those things which will impact us in a way that we even write the code, and the way that we'll be able to deliver services to our banks. That itself is changing. So I think 3 years itself is a very long time. I don't have a mindset of thinking beyond 3 years in the current way the technology is moving, right? But if I have to focus on these 3 years and say what FSS will be doing in what we are doing and what we are best at, is to get our customers uh, migrate to the new tech stack of Blaze. That is one focus area for us, because if the banks have to take advantage of the new things which are fast evolving, they have to move their primary technology sets to the new technology stack, without which they will not be able to leverage the changes happening around them in the globe and in the country. Right? That's primary. Uh, we'll be investing really heavy on AI. In fact, even this year, a lot of budget has been allocated to kind of working around AI. Now, it can be optimizing our internal operations, automating our code generation to some extent, which we have already done, and also automation and fraud prevention for our products offered to the clients. Right. So this is some of the spaces that we have identified that we'll be investing heavily on AI for. And the third aspect I would say is tokenization and blockchain, which I already spoke about, I think, responding to your earlier query. That's another area which we believe which will help us expand our footprint in the global markets, and that's again a focus area for us to work on these aspects of technology, to see what are the products and services that we can participate in, and what are the new things that we can do in terms of tokenization blockchain. So that's the third thing that I can speak about. But again, I'm speaking of 3 years. Beyond 3 years, the future, I guess, if anybody says they know the future, I would be rather intrigued.
Thank you so much, sir. It is a delight to be talking to you today, and it was such a pleasure. Thank you so much for taking your time and your insights and sharing those with us today. We had Mr. Karan Hejmadi, a Senior Vice President, Project Management Group, FSS. Sir, thank you so much for being part of our show. And for our audience, if you have any questions for Mr. Kiran or FSS, please feel free to leave those in the comments down below. We will make sure to get you your answers through them. Also, if you have any suggestions for leaders that you would want to have on this platform, please leave those suggestions also in the comments. We will come back to you with another episode featuring them. With that, we would like to take your leave now. Stay informed with us on the latest financial technologies. Bye bye. Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Asawari. Thanks a lot. Bye.